As the bus pulls up to the village, still a few miles away, all we could see is this massive crowd of people standing out on the street, and you could hear the drums playing from maybe a mile away.
And suddenly the bus stops in the middle of this street, and out of nowhere, just this crowd of kids came up.
And there were more than 100 people there screaming and yelling and dancing and singing. When we came off, the band was playing and we started a processional down the street.
You know, we walked for a mile, maybe a mile and a half. There's a crowd of people around you the whole time singing and dancing.
When you first see the town, it's fair to say it seems very much like a third world country. But once you start to meet the people, it feels like the kind of community that you wish you could be part of.
The homes in the actual town of Atebubu were made up of a lot of sheet metal and pole-type barns, very little electricity, very little running water. As we got outside the village, there were some very primitive homes that were made of probably a clay adobe-type material.
This is well water from one of the local wells. They have a water pipe from the filtration system running nearby, but due to cost and also due to history, this is what they're familiar with, and it's free, so they're currently using this. It's not quite as healthy as the filtrated water, which is what we hope that more of the community will start to use.
They didn't really have much of a garbage disposal system as we would think of it in the United States.
The sanitation concerns are significant in Atebubu. The garbage in particular was a concern. Often it would be bagged and left on the street.
There would be piles of garbage, and most often a goat or some sort of animal foraging through it.
The bigger concern than just the trash that's being left out on the streets would be human waste product. With a lack of sewage systems and indoor plumbing, it means that there's a serious concern for hepatitis.
One of the first things actually we were told was don't fall into the ditches on the side of the road.
And it's not uncommon for a soccer ball, if they have one or whatever they might be carrying, to fall into those trenches. And when they do, of course, the kids just pick it right back out and keep playing with it.
Read your Bible, pray every day if you want to.
Before going to Ghana, I was not a kid person at all. And then going to Ghana, you had these little kids and they loved you. They thought you were everything to them, and they waited outside the door when we woke up in the morning, and all they wanted to do was hold your hand.
The little children of the village would just wander with us all day long. When we were at the school work site painting, they wanted to be right there holding the brush with us. They wanted to hold our hands.
The most tragic thing about Ghana and going to Ghana was seeing very beautiful, kind, loving people who would give so much to complete strangers, but who still, you know, lacked so much in terms of resources, in terms of physical resources.
I'm used to seeing American schools. I'm used to seeing schools in Central America where they were bad, but nothing as compared to what we saw in Ghana. Cement square rooms with a couple chalkboards.
There's no electricity, no running water, and there were cracks in the foundation there. It needed badly to be repainted and completely rebuilt, but they understand that they have to make do with what they have.
We intend painting the block, but we've realized that there are a lot of cracks on the walls. So it needs to be reinforced with concrete beams supported with iron rods to pave way for the painting.
This is very dangerous for the school.
Actually, very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous.
And so kids are still meeting in here?
They study over here.
One of the concerns with the school is the fact that the foundations are cracked and the walls are crumbling at some spots. And that in itself is rather disturbing.
The hospital was a very difficult place to see. First and foremost was very dirty, very not sanitary whatsoever.
And the hospital needed a lot to sort of catch up to what we would have considered normal care.
And often the women would have hepatitis or a variety of other diseases that could easily be transferred.
The surgical ward was something you wouldn't ever want to see anything happen in.
Every Wednesdays is our operation days. At times 3 or 4 or more than that.
Is this room nicer better than other theater rooms?
No, please.
No, it's
No,
poor.
please. It's very poor. We have been complaining. Look at this place, the room, all. Even when we are posted to come here, we feel so reluctant to come here. Because things that we are using where we are, when we come here, we don't get it. I was at Sunyani Government Hospital before, because of my husband, that's why I'm here. He's on retirement at Yeji. So I decided coming here, I think it's nearer. But when you go to the regional hospital, you feel so even proud that you are working there. And while you are here,
not so much.
Not so much. We wash our hands here. When we finish, I was just very happy seeing you people asking me this. I know when you go back, you remember Atebubu Hospital, and you come and do something better for us. Because we need you people to help us.
We will hope. We will pray.
Okay. We don't bring any clean cases here.
Okay.
When we have maybe somebody's having a boil and you are coming to do incision for that person, or small cuts, you bring them here. But the major cases, we send it to inside.
Okay. And this room could use some help too.
Okay, yes. We are looking forward to see you. We want you to come and help us.
Yes.
We need your help at Atebubu Hospital. We really need you.
I was very concerned to see the women's and children's ward. Specifically, there was no children's ward. They were thrown in with the women.
The beds have been, since '96, they have been the same beds that we have been using. The mattresses, same, they are quite old.
If we are people who care for one another and want to reach out to help each other, that hospital is a great place to start because it was devastating.
There are so many important lessons that you take away from the Ghanaian culture, lessons that change your life, and you realize that you don't just give back to them in a monetary sense.
In a place where you have that much need, it can be startling how good people are at the rest of their life, how good people are at loving one another, at building a community where they can sort of be at peace with one another.
Someone going to Ghana and seeing what little they have would only learn that what we have in this culture is not necessarily what you have to live a full life.
I think in America, one of our goals is to see who can get the most. And in Atebubu, I think part of their life goal is to see who needs the least. It's not about what you can obtain, but it's what you need to survive and how you might give what you have to others to help them in their survival.
One of the exciting opportunities for us is being partners with them as they try to improve the quality of their schools or their hospitals. And I think as we do that, we become part of that community and we start to realize what it's like to be loved as a member of that community.
The one thing I'm certain they've taught me is that my life becomes most significant when I share it with all those around me. In Atebubu, it is accepted, like in the dances, to bring your own individuality to it, but to recognize that any one dance is part of a much bigger dance between each of us, all of us, and our Creator.